Okay, so this is basically the third episode. I know that you're seeing me on the full screen rather than the smaller screen that you usually see me at, but today is an important day. Is it? It's important because today I'm having a guest on the show. He's just my roommate. A little bit about him. He is studying with me at Musicians Institute. He is a very talented guitarist, and I think he is pretty creative. We talk about really effed up things, and many a times we come across some new revelations. He would ask me questions that I perhaps might not know the answer to, and the same thing works the other way, and we just have a great time, like in general talking. So it's gonna be a pretty relaxed conversation, and honestly, if you're somebody who's listening, just think of it as like two friends hanging out, and I don't drink alcohol or do those kind of talks or whatever, but I think I just dive straight in regardless. I don't need that stuff to get started. So I think I've been recording for a while, and I should probably start the timer. So let's go for the timer. And yeah, let me do some more things. Actually, let me start sharing my screen. All right, so this is the third episode of Exponential Creativity podcast, and with each day it's getting better and better, and I also start thinking about other things that I need to improve. Like one of the things that I was thinking I need to improve is, I wonder if you can see the video. Yeah, one of the things I think I needed to improve was like just the branding of the whole thing, and how I'm talking, and what kind of voice. But that's okay. It'll get better with time, like making thumbnails and stuff like that, right? Thumbnails and what else? Like branding, like a certain look, maybe. I mean, I've been thinking about this, but honestly, I think I'm gonna keep it pretty straightforward. In my life, I think I'm gonna be doing a lot of creative things, and many of the things that I'll do, people may or may not understand. And I sometimes feel like my mind is racing. It's racing to a point where I feel like nobody in the world will understand me. And I think if you stick with this podcast, you're gonna start thinking that, yeah, this guy's kind of out of the world. Because I keep thinking that all the time. Like, all the things that I think about, I don't really find anybody who's thought about those things. So it's just something that's interesting, exciting, and at the same time, it's it's something that is scary, because I was drawing this chart out today. It's probably not the best way to show it, but let me actually stop sharing for a second here. So can you see that? Okay, so I was kind of drawing this chart like a bell curve, and on the bell curve we are in 2021, right? Now this is what most people think, this is what is acceptable. Racism is bad, we shouldn't harm animals, but it's okay if you kill chickens and cows, but dogs, no, of course not, right? And then you go backwards in time, and then over here you're like, no, homosexual behavior is wrong, it's completely wrong, it shouldn't be acceptable. And then I feel like going forwards, you'll see like people earlier, cannibalism was wrong, but now since you can print animal meat, well, you can start printing human meat, and then at that point, is that considered wrong? And then perhaps we wouldn't look at Jeffrey Dahmer and with the same kind of I don't know, the same kind of vindictiveness, I would say. So yeah, maybe they were born at the wrong time. Of course, it's just a perspective, but that was something that I was thinking about, and I feel like if this gets clearer, okay, I feel like my thoughts are way up here, in probably 21 and this is the curve right now, and this curve always keeps moving forwards. So I am creating things which probably would not be appreciated right now, but in time it's going to get there. So I can see the whole thing ahead, and then I can create stuff which the market will appreciate, like just ahead. So it gets valued in time. But anyways, with that, let us invite our guest, Mr. Varad Sahasrabudhe. Can you see him? I hope you can. He still has his mic and video switched off, but now I can see him. You can unmute yourself, bro.
Got it. Can you hear me?
Yes. So this gonna start off straight off. It feels so weird that you're just in the other room, but
yeah.
We are talking on Zoom. Yeah, I guess I should like do some introduction or something, right? Well, how would you like to be introduced? Then I'll say it again.
Wow, man, this is like trying to get a letter of recommendation and then telling them, just I'll write it and you just sign it off for me, But however you want to introduce, man. I mean, like, what is there to introduce?
Actually, you know what? I was seeing this one thing right now when I was inviting you. So let's just dive straight in. I was watching your Instagram, so I wanted to show people what your Instagram looks like, and this is. Right, so you have a nobody.
The truth.
So, okay, I guess I can just kind of scroll through your Instagram and talk about that. I've known Varad since 2020 or 2019 actually, like the winter of 2019, and we both came to MI in the same quarter, and yeah, he's been a friend of mine for a long time. He used to look very different, as you can see, and now he looks very different. And who knows where he is going to go.
Well, it's LA, man. I mean, everybody gets botox. So.
You say it's LA. Have I changed? I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe a bit. Yeah, maybe a bit.
Yeah, mentally, definitely.
Yeah, that I can vouch for.
Okay, so yeah, that's Varad. Go follow him on his Instagram, and give him those sweet follows and watch his sweet videos. He is actually a pretty nice guitarist. I'll say that for sure. I think one of the things I'll say about Varad is what always amazes me is I would be playing something on the guitar and I'd be singing a song, and then he would make these lines which are just absolutely something that I wouldn't think of, or maybe he's technically that proficient, or he's making these connections, but just in general he has a really fast speed of operation. That's been my observation, and I think with that, enough of dick sucking. Let us dive straight in.
I'm satisfied, that's it.
Always, bro, always. Okay, so how do we start this? I was thinking that I could tell you some of the things I was thinking about today, and then you could tell me what you thought about that. What do you think about it? So we could have like, what does a relatively higher up in the normie category
okay, got it.
think about my extraordinary ideas, right?
Or completely dumb. You know that it's a circle, right? It starts with completely dumb and highly, intelligent, and then there's like a fine line.
Yeah, but it's
so
just
I think you are living on that line. I think so.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like you were telling me about this podcast, like Untriggered, right? And that's like a podcast that is based in Pune, where there's guys like us who are just talking around a table. Like, what is that exactly like?
I think, I mean, like, I just have watched like one episode and it's just more of a hang. And I think I like to watch hangs and just like, people talking, sharing stuff. So, it's fun. It's fun to watch. That's all I can say about it.
In general, when you're, consuming any type of media, do you have any expectations for what it should be like? Are you more like, what is your favorite social media platform? I think that is a better question.
Interesting. YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why so?
Because well, first of all, they don't have reels. Sorry, correction. They do have some reels called as YouTube
They do have
Shorts.
like a shorts.
Yeah, yeah, but they just don't come at your face and just keep their just banging there on your door. So YouTube is something that's great. Just like different subjects, different recommendations. So and it's just fun place to hang, man. I mean, that's all I can say. And one thing about YouTube that I like, is the suggestions are spontaneous. So, but that's again one bad thing, right? Because it keeps you in the loop, and then it's tough to exit YouTube and then get to your work. So
I've always thought like if something is engaging enough for you to watch, perhaps you should watch it and see why does it engage you. Like, why is it that particular thing grab your attention over so many other things?
Yeah, I know, but again, it's taking up your time. So that's one thing I don't want to do, or I don't want to get into doing, because there's like all the other stuff that I have to get to. So it's like a tool for procrastination, I think.
Okay. But it's a slightly better tool for procrastination over Instagram or which other platforms?
Instagram has its own place. Definitely. But I don't usually go to platforms just to gain knowledge. I just go like sometimes to these platforms where I just don't want to think about anything. Just see, like mindlessly scroll through. That's it. And I think that's everything. Everybody's, I think, guilty of that. So.
Okay. Mindless scrolling.
Is that like the summary of this?
So basically, this is the idea of the podcast. So this is great.
Okay.
So how the podcast works is essentially it's an hour long, and our challenge in this podcast is to take, like, at some point in this podcast, I'm gonna show you like 2 ideas. And I know you're, in general, in my experience, you're a pretty creative person. So anytime I tell you anything, you usually find an analogy and you come back with a better idea. I that's why I probably didn't explain that, but that's kind of how this podcast is working. So my goal behind this podcast is like to help people be creative, and also to show that it's not really that hard to come up with ideas, and it's kind of there to solve a problem. Because when I wanted to be creative, I had to really look at a lot of different resources, and there's no one resource in place, at least I couldn't find it, which really shows you down to the nitty-gritty how it really works. And now, after reading some books and after watching some videos and just doing a lot of experimentation over the last 1 year, I have kind of gotten a hang of how to really be creative. So I have these processes that I've set up, and I'm kind of hoping that one day this could be like it could be like an online university.
Yeah, I think you should have a class in a art school or something. Be creative. That's it.
A class in an art school, and what related?
No, the name of the class should be Creative. That's
Be Creative. Oh, I actually wanted to name this podcast Retarded Creativity. Where even retards can, with a tagline. But then I thought that people would not like that. And I till now even I'm judging myself, like should I really change the name to Exponential Creativity, because
Okay.
if it's retarded creativity, it is satisfying me, but if it's exponential creativity, I'm kind of changing the whole thing so that people like it. And I still haven't been able to figure out if I should you know, cater to people's needs or cater to my needs. So, and I guess I don't know, like, where do you stand on that? Because I don't think anybody's gonna be watching this, but I know one day people will.
Okay.
You know, because they'll be like, dude, this guy's fucking out of his mind when I come out with my songs and shit, and they'll be like, bhai ye kahan se socha? Then I'll be like, ye dekho.
So yeah, I mean, like, if this segment is something that they would like to see what you are thinking, or what's the natural thing, like thinking process and stuff, then yeah, you shouldn't think about catering to other people.
Yeah.
So name this podcast anything, man. Retarded creativity, go with that.
Retarded. Yeah, it would definitely get an audience for sure. I just feel like sponsors would be, I mean, anyways, I'm saying some whack shit. Who would ever sponsor this, right? But I think people might, like, what if I could get like a porn channel, or like a there's those Adam and Eve and these kind of things. I see comedians with their podcasts where they are promoting like sex toys. Maybe I could do that, and I could do it for the Indian audience.
Yeah, maybe Viagra pills or something like that. Viagra churna, I don't know, churn and shit like that.
This actually leads me to what I really want to talk to you about, which is the future of pornography.
Future of pornography, interesting. I think there is a lot of revolutionary creativity that's going on in the realm of porn. It's like it's mind blowing.
Mind blowing, is that like a new sort of actually let's think, what is the
mind blowing or mind bending, whatever you would like to call it.
Like let's think of oral sex, right? So this could be like, blowing is in general, it's thought of like blowjobs and shit like that. So what would a mind blowjob look like?
Mind blowjob? That's basically listening to jazz music. That's it. As simple as that, bro.
Yeah. What is jazz music? A mind blowjob.
Yeah, man. It's like, I don't know, mind music, mind blowjob, masturbation, whatever you would like to call it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Jazz music.
They do call it, in the jazz world, they do call it blowing over a tune. So there are some parallels there.
Do they really say that?
Yeah. Not
Is that more for like horn players, or like just for guitars also, or something like that?
I mean, like any time you solo over a head or like over a chorus, it's like something you say, let's blow over the tune.
Yeah, see, now even that could be like head, right?
Yeah.
Blowing over the head.
Yeah, head. Good. Definitely. I mean, like, if you, I mean, like, there was this one time when I was like, speaking about jazz music in front of an army who didn't play jazz, or didn't know about anything in the music world. And I was like, I'm going to blow over this tune, or I'm going to just play the head. And he was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? What is that? I told him, this is a great scat. And then he just went like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you saying scat? And I didn't know that scat is a porn type, there's some weird shit going on.
Oh yeah, what is that? What is that supposed to be?
I never found out, because I never searched it. Because I don't want to, because the only scat I want to know is that's it. That's what I like.
But yeah, now as you see, because of creativity, there is scat as porn, and then scat as jazz, and then what would that look like? So that's where we talk about the revolutionary creativity, future of pornography. So scat as jazz, I guess we need to research that, scat as jazz. I was thinking about like watching like porn and stuff in these videos, I will obviously blur out the entire screen.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know how to do that yet. And then even in Premiere Pro, when I'm editing this
it's
later,
same. You just go to Google Chrome and you type in Pornhub, and then once the video is done, I think you just blur it out. Maybe
yeah,
in editing.
but that's not the issue. So the thing is that even with audio, you could get copyright strikes. So if I go ahead and if I start playing some music, and if there's no background music on top, like I could get a copyright strike or something like that. It feels very restrictive. I wish I could really be free in every way possible, but it's okay. It's what it is.
It is what it is. It's fine.
Head. We were talking about head, and I was when you were saying head, I was thinking like it's another word for sex. A blowjob. Sorry. So blowjobs are like also said like blowjobs are head, like giving head. Right, and then when you talk about head, you're obviously thinking about the girl or the guy. I mean, we are inclusive here, or the dog. We are very inclusive. So we are talking about, just for keeping things relatively vanilla, a girl's head. But what if it's like also the tip of a something like this, right? I feel your teeth clenching and wondering, should I be here right now? I will take a second right now. I want to take a second to talk to the audience. He is not crazy. I am. Okay, just so if anybody comes after you, just tell them that it was I hypnotized you or some shit like that.
I'll have the papers ready, just sign them over.
Okay, so
just to get away from the legal matters.
Yeah, dude, like laws are like something that we could probably talk about. That's definitely something that I'm very interested in, like knowing how we can go about things. Because it's literally some guy who wrote down, you can't do this, and then everybody said yes.
Well, I think it was like not just one guy, but like I think it was the committee that set down those set of laws. So
yeah, but those guys are dead now, so like maybe we should reevaluate. I'm not saying that we don't need laws. I definitely I think laws are so important because they let me say this kind of bullshit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, but they do amend laws time to time. Depends on in which country you are.
Which was the latest law you've seen being amended?
Interesting. I can't remember right now.
I remember that whole gay thing happening in India.
That's one thing. Yeah.
Did it go through?
Yeah, it did. They can now legally get married. The people community, the LGBT.
But can they stick their dick up other people's asses?
With consent, yes.
Okay. What about animals?
Without animals, see, that's now the gray area.
Gray area.
So that's something else to swim in. But there are no black and white. Yeah.
I keep thinking of like how to rationalize these things and probably bring these to the world where it would be acceptable, and once I rationalize it away, I like to see how people would think about this. So I do have an idea about this, like animals, like this by the way, for people who are watching and they don't know, this is called beastiality. Beastiality is basically sex with animals, right?
Yes, guys, that is important to know. Bestiality is sex with animals, not just having sex in a very wild way. Some people think that, but no. It's having sex with animals.
Hey, but
not like an animal.
If it's with animals, I guess you're right. It could be civilized sex, even with an animal. What if the animal is like really posh?
Like a poodle? Oh no. That's a weird image. No.
Oh, this is great. like a poodle. Civilized. Yeah, now here's the thing, like, see, you've now revealed some sort of hypocrisy where somebody would be like, you were being an absolute beast, and you'd be like, no dude, like, that poodle is very civilized and so am I think you should check your tone right there. That is so insensitive. Something.
What is interesting is, I mean, like, you bringing this up, like, the dilemma is, would you do have doggy style with the dog or not? That's something to think about, right? So
yeah, because it's
there, man. I mean, like, so would that be considered as double bestiality or some shit like that, or what?
Yeah, would you, like, is doggy style with a dog actually doggy style? Yeah.
Or is that double bestiality?
Double bestiality. This is great. We've come across a new so now you see how this creative process of just talking bullshit has led to a new revelation. What is, I mean, people were talking about bestiality. What is double bestiality? And Varad Sahasrabudhe on 1st of September 2021 has coined the term for us. Yeah.
And probably ended his career before it started.
It never started to begin with. Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay. So double bestiality, and the question that it comes from is it called doggy style when you are doing it with a dog? You know, this probably could be a great starting point for news porn categories, right? Because we've now heard of doggy style, but what would dolphin style look like? Right? Have you ever thought about this? And now we can, like, investigate different animals, like, and maybe we could start off with animals and then go on to let's say guitar style. You know, that would just, I think those kind of things already exist, but okay, guitar. I remember, like, the other day, you want to tell them what you were saying, like, you could, you know, put your fingers in a certain way. Okay,
go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Okay, so basically the other day I was talking with Varad, and every morning Varad wakes up and he is having a, you know, tea or something, and he's in a very zen mode. And I have woken up maybe a couple of hours before him, or maybe I've not slept all night, and then I tell him something fucked up that I've been thinking, and then he's just like, kya bol diya tune? So
it's like, you know, a man wakes up in the morning, he just wants to have tea peacefully, and then all of a sudden you're talking about pegging, you know, and then it's like,
pegging.
So just let me drink my tea, man.
Yeah, these are the important questions that nobody's asking. But I'm telling you, hum log ka future, we are like the hair, like people with hair Johnny Sins or something like that, you know.
Really?
I mean, maybe we are the nerds behind him, so maybe we get a Johnny Sins, like, you know, like a robot with like a really big dick to fuck on our behalf, but we would be programming it with all this fucking bullshit, and we'd be like you're talking about Pornhub, like we are futurism Pornhub or something like that, you know, and this is porn for robots, because if we turn into robots. But yeah, let's backtrack a little bit. So dolphin style, we could talk about animals, and then we could talk about objects. I think objects are, for some reason I feel objects is not that like you wouldn't be so against an object, but you'd be very against animals, like not you in general but people in general. What do you think about that?
Interesting. I mean, like, people usually, I mean, the reason they give is, well, objects are non-living, so, you know, we can talk shit about anything, you know, if it's an object. So I think so. That's the reason why people don't like it when we talk about animals and, you know, people in general. But objects are fine. You know, I don't think anybody would be, you know, offended if you say something about a sex toy. rather than saying some porn star. I'm pretty sure people would people would get furious if you speak about something about some porn star which they really like.
I mean, but just as I guess, yeah, that's probably right for today. But if we, let's for a second, like this is an important question. I was discussing this with my other roommate today, and we were basically, I was asking him what is living, what is a living thing, and this comes from, like, he is Gujarati. So Gujarati is essentially people who don't eat non-veg, like amongst other things, good with business and stuff, right? What are some other stereotypes about them?
I plead the fifth.
Okay. Yeah, this was a term that Varad coined.
No. It's not. It's not something I coined. It's already there.
Oh yeah, it's already there. But like as a segment, he gave me this idea. I remember him talking about this, where I was telling him a particular topic, and he's like, "I don't want to comment on it," and I thought that was pretty cool. Like, and I plead the fifth. Yeah. I'll talk about that in just a second and then go on to this. So Gujarati people who don't eat meat, in general, of course, that's the stereotypical thing to say. So I was asking him that what do you consider as like, he thinks that eating animals is wrong, right? So like, don't eat animals, it's cruel.
I mean, you know that Brahmins, even Brahmins don't eat meat, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people, vegans and all of these people.
Vegans,
they all say it's cruel, right? It's cruel to kill them for food. So I wanted to know, like, why is it that we consider animals living but not plants? And if plants are considered living, which I think they are, then why don't people have like that kind of a reaction when they are eating plants? Like when you're eating like wheat or rice.
It's again, man. The reasoning they give to that is it's living, but doesn't have any emotions. It doesn't feel anything. That's the reason that they give, which I think is not exactly true, because they do feel pain and stuff like that. They just can't show it. If you go in deep in the biology of it, they do feel some sort of things, but it's just that they can't express it and stuff like that. So they are living as they come, but again, you can see it. So it's not animal cruelty or like plant cruelty. You can call that, right? It's just eating plants. That's it. But hey, man, I mean, like, I don't even go there. I mean, like, if it's eating right, I mean, like, it's right or wrong. I just think about the whole ecosystem, how it works. People like there are animals who are carnivorous, just eat meat. There are animals who are just eat grass, plants. There are animals who eat both. So I think of humans as like those kind of animals who just like eat plants too, and animals too. What was the term for it? Omnivores.
Yeah.
Omnivores. Yeah. So I just think about that. Sure, I know that eating animals is wrong, and it on a huge scale of level we are causing harm to the environment. But I've also heard about this, that if you stop eating meat, all of a sudden the whole entire civilization stops eating meat. Then also again we are going to run into a problem, because like if you don't consume those chickens and stuff, then overgrazing is going to be a problem. Where one level of animals in an ecosystem is going to deplete all the sources of plants there are. And after they've depleted that, then that level is going to die. And then the level above them, they will not have anything to eat, but the level below them died. So now it just follows. So I think it's important to strike balance. I can say that there's like heavy exploitation of poultry animals going on in the world. So that's something that has to be like looked upon, because that's not something really good. But I don't see anything wrong with eating meat. It's my thing. That's it.
So again, like, so for somebody, they draw the line at killing plants, For
Yeah.
you draw the line at killing animals. Humans
Yeah.
in general draw the line at not eating other humans. I think. So there's this new technology which is like 3D printing,
Mm-hmm.
and they are able to print like using stem cells. They can print animal meat. So this is great because this means that finally, you don't have to eat, like you don't have to kill a chicken to make its meat. You can just extract, and it's much more efficient, less energy going in terms of growing those crops to feed those animals and growing them and all those pesticides and taking care of their health. We don't need to do that. Just grow it in the lab, and then you can and it can also be customized to the point where you're literally growing like parts of the chicken. Like let's say you really like just the leg piece.
Yeah. I've heard about that.
Yeah. So going along those lines, what if you could now start printing human meat? What do you think? How do you think people are gonna, get think about that technology?
I don't know. They might accept it because at the end of the day, it's saving animals and human meat. I don't see any problem eating human meat, and if it's printed, of course. FBI, if you're listening, I'm not with cannibalism. So.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So human meat being printed, you're okay. You know what? I actually asked this to another friend of mine, and she also said the same thing, that if it was printed, she wouldn't have any problems eating it.
I mean, like when you attach emotions to certain things, killing an actual human is actually attaching those emotions to that kind, right? The heinous act of killing somebody and eating them, the live flesh. So I think that's the sentiment that people are against. But I don't think if you give them an option of eating like 3D printed meat of humans, I don't think they're really going to care, because at the end of the day, we are not killing a live human being. We're just creating parts. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So now this is gonna take a disgusting turn. What do you think about miscarriages and abortions and probably eating that meat for food?
See, again, there's things you can't. Sure, you can eat that, but at the same time, you can't eat that because I mean, like you eat that, that's not exactly nutritious to your body. Those might be some things which you eat and then maybe you would die. So I mean, like at the end of the day, you consume something that's edible, right? You don't consume anything that you see, or man might start to eat stone as well, or like mud and shit like that.
So what makes something edible?
What makes something edible is after you eat it, you don't die, or you don't get food poisoning, or you don't get any allergies and stuff. That's edible.
I actually don't know the answer to this, because I think if it's biological meat and if you could cook it, I think you should be able to eat it, right?
That's the point. You can't eat it.
Why not?
I mean, let's say you get a placenta that's died, and then how do you expect that it's edible? It has any sort of nutrition in it, or even it's like, how do you know that once you eat it, it's going to not cause problems in your body or like react with something? The blood mixing with your blood is not going to create some problems for you, like some new diseases. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Maybe getting some STDs.
Okay.
You never know.
I see this placenta is from
people get STDs without actually having sex. People get STDs by just if you go in a very not so well funded like a medical clinic, and they are using like a syringe they have been used like, for the first patient, and if he has STD, then you're going to take the STD for sure. So those are some things you have to think about. If you want to go and need those miscarriages or abortions, go ahead. But then I think you might be able to do just once and then die.
The thing is, you don't know, and you're imagining that you would probably die, right? Do you know this for certain, that eating abortion?
No, I don't know. But I do know this for sure. Eating blood at that level is going to create some sort of problems with your body.
Really?
Yeah.
So here's
Well,
the thing.
let's say in any meat, how many times you eat blood or you drink blood? We never do that, right? All the meat, all the chicken we get, blood is
No,
not
like
in
if
there.
you're
Just
eating
the
a steak,
fishes.
there's quite a lot of blood in it.
I don't think so. That's blood. Those are just enzymes or tissue enzymes inside
No,
them.
like
I don't think that's blood.
if you take like a piece of steak and if you press it
Okay.
against like tissue or something, you'll see like some
Uh-huh.
red thing, and it's really blood that is kind of seeping from that. And even in chicken, it is the case. So the chicken that we eat, it has like that black line in like the leg pieces or things like that.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are after cooking, that's how it looks. But before cooking, it's actually those red blood vessels. So when we are eating any kind of meat, we are eating a little bit of blood for sure.
Okay.
It seems like it's a little unsettling for you.
No, it's not unsettling. It is that I remove those parts of my meat or my chicken. I don't eat that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anything with blood in it, I'm not cool with it. So
Okay. So you wouldn't go down on a girl when she's on her period, right?
no.
Okay. All right, one of
I
those.
think I think that even the girl wouldn't want to.
Why not? Why would
don't
she
know.
have any problems?
It's kind of for some girls, I know that it's kind of a painful process getting periods.
Yeah, but now
I
you are
do-
adding pleasure to it.
Yeah, I have read that like having sex in your periods actually gives you some kind of pleasure and it calms you down. So, but yeah, it's subjective, man. I wouldn't let it go down.
I have actually never seen that kind of porn where I
Now
think
I
that
know
would
what
be
you're going to search tonight.
Yeah, you know me so well. Yeah, definitely. Like there's these new things that we thought of, and I feel like if any porn production company was like watching this video right now, they would be getting ideas. And hey, if you guys are getting any ideas, like consider hiring us. You know, we are very creative people. We can really add a lot to the industry, and we are creative in every domain. We are creative, in a technological world, in music, in lyrics.
Just
whatever.
letting you know, guys, we don't want to work for experience. We want to get paid, okay? I don't want that shit. Nobody wants that shit, okay? We are done.
Yeah, except for the porn stars that we hire, for sure. They could. It depends. I feel like who would want to watch that, right? I think that's where it starts. So okay. So let's step back a second. So you think that eating abortions and miscarriages are, maybe you would eat it and you would die, and maybe you get an STD, new diseases. Well, look at the positive. If you do get a disease, now we can hire scientists to solve a disease. Like right now they're like so many years they've spent, and now I'm pretty sure they've found the cure for AIDS, but they're just like, I need my job.
No, I mean, like, I think there are usually patients with diseases as it is. You don't need to create more diseases just by eating those, dead percenters. So, I think there are people out there that they can experiment on.
For sure, but like think about it like a simulation, right? Because once you create a simulation, you would purposefully want things to go wrong, so that now you
I
could
mean,
take
dude, in a simulation, you can get pregnant and you can get an abortion and you can eat the same aborted, thing.
Yes,
In a
yes.
simulation, you can do anything you want.
Exactly, but that would probably be an unreal experience to bridge from the biological to the technological. But if they could do that, then I'm sure, like, definitely let's go for it. But if that wasn't possible, so kind of there would be virtual, like, fun simulations, or however you wish, wishy-washy simulations. But one of the simulations which is running is like based on real world stuff and just things that people are not inclined to try because they know killing somebody in the real world has implications. A genocide has implications. But if it's a virtual world, it's like a video game. You can kill as many people as you want, but at the end of the day, you could see, like, after killing 1,000 people, how does that feel? And now you could see, like, is that a good thing to have or not? Like, probably you'd be emotionless, but now you could put that emotionless kind of switch or dial into people. So anytime let's say you have a very bitchy girlfriend and she's like bitching all the time, you could just on your remote or on your phone, you have this control on her and a filter in between the two of you. You could just turn down the bitchiness knob. And when you're turning it down, what's actually happening is it's increasing the simulation interaction between the two of you conversing. So now you're in slightly a happier place, and everything that you say goes to her, goes through a bitchy filter. So it's coming through an emotion filter, and she's like, how could you say something like that? And that could perhaps be a better way to just live life.
But I think if you were in that situation, I don't think you need that filter, right? Because anything you say, the response would be, how the hell could you say that?
That is, how the hell could you say that? I think about this like, how would AI have AI relationships? Like, do you think that they would argue like humans and it would be just an elevated level? Or do you think that they would be very rational? I mean, obviously there's many possibilities, but if you had to like guess on your own terms, like by your own perspective, what do you think?
I don't know, man, because the thing is that AI fighting with each other, that I don't know, because like that's something that I have to have knowledge of, the whole language that goes in programming them, and what goes on in the back end of it, for me to know that there's a possibility that they could argue, that can be or not, because at the end of the day they are programmed, and if they are programmed at the level that the finesse is at the top, I don't think there would be any arguments. It just would go everything harmoniously. I think so. That's what I think. If I had more knowledge in that realm, maybe I could be able to answer that.
Okay. I guess you're right, but my question kind of stems from this place, because every time there is an argument, there is an opportunity to learn. So if there is no arguments ever, how is the AI going to learn? I mean, again, one perspective to take. But do you think it would just reach a point of like, okay, I know everything now, that's it, like no more point of living?
No, that's I don't think so. It would be an AI that would, like, as you said, essentially AI would think for himself. And the argument that we have, I think that's going to be different with AI, I think. And the AI's argument would be more of like a question answer, just ask you questions and we would tell them something and it would just learn from them, rather than because I don't think AI would have the capability of the compassion and the emotions and stuff. So I don't think it has the capability of really getting angry or sad or happy. So yeah, I think so. If you look at it in a realm of rationality, it would just absorb all the knowledge that we give it to it without being actually offended or being happy, anything. It just like takes, if you give him a compliment, he's not going to be happy. He will just learn that compliment. Okay, that's a compliment, and he would go in billions of compliments, how people give it to them, and then would just have this database of.
But think about it this way, like if you were to make a robot, and you're giving it human expressions. So every time you give the robot a compliment, in order to make you feel better, it is going to go through its entire database of all the smiles that have ever been, and it's going to give you the smile that it thinks, according to your psychology, is going to make you the happiest. So
yeah. But again, it depends. I mean, like for people, if it was the case with me, if I have an AI robot which smiles, it basically reacts to me the way I like it, I wouldn't still be completely satisfied, because I know it's a robot. That's a job.
What if it is purposefully annoying you just because you know that you don't like it, and then that you like not being liked?
Then again, I would know, and then I would not like being liked, not liked. If you guys can follow that.
Okay, I see. How would you know though? Because here's another question. Like this is now, I guess we're entering the realm of manipulation. I personally, I don't trust anybody. I trust people's actions but I don't trust what they say. I don't trust what they do. Like whatever they do, they might say a lot of things, but actions cannot lie. That is kind of like the mantra I live by. Somebody must have thought something through and they acted, and somebody just acted however. But I think in any case, it is revealing something about them enough that they could expend that much energy to go ahead and do that. So when it comes to like manipulation, I really don't know if I'm being manipulated or not. Like, I sometimes think like, what if I'm in a simulation right now and you are saying exactly the kind of things that has to be fed into my mind so that, this conversation could go on further. It is entirely possible that you are a robot. And what if you are really the human and I am a robot, or like I'm like a holographic projection in your simulation? So maybe the manipulation is that great that I just can't see through it.
Could be. I mean, like when I was like learning quantum physics for a while, and like, there was this theory of the holographic projection where they said that essentially if you study the black holes, the event horizon basically, reflects whatever's inside it. So essentially Earth and not general could be just an holographic projection, and that holographic screen would be around us in the black space. And so that's a possibility. The whole world can be a simulation, and it's such at a great level that we can't even comprehend to understand that how it has been programmed, or it's a simulation for us to know it in absolutes. Yeah, we know that it's a simulation. We can't. But yeah, that's about it. Anything can be a simulation. Sure can be.
Have you heard of this thing called as a Matrioshka brain?
No.
So I don't know, I guess the scientist's name is Matrioshka or something, but he basically thought of this idea where, have you heard of Dyson sphere?
Yeah, I think so.
So like basically if this is the sun and we are on Earth and it's going around, if we wanted to get the sun's energy, we could create solar panels all on Earth and extract the energy. But that's such a small area, right? So what if we could create solar panels all around the sun itself? So there was an argument that is, if we could see like a star having like we could see that light is bending over there, but we can't see it. Perhaps there's a Dyson sphere over there where all of the energy from the star, it's like a big reactor in space and you're extracting the energy right from the source. So that would be like a Dyson sphere. And obviously people said that it's not possible to build something like that. There's no element that we know yet that can be used to construct such a thing. So they thought of a Dyson swarm. So a Dyson swarm would be many solar collectors going around the sun, and they would extract all the energy and beam it to a particular location. And that location could have a computer, a super powerful computer, which could now be called as the Matrioshka brain. So that computer is so powerful, it has so much energy coming into it that it has cooling systems, and it has capabilities to self-replicate itself, and every person like me living this life could all be simulated, and everywhere I look, that's created as I'm looking here and there, and even like on screen, like there might be so many different possibilities I could be looking at, but it doesn't have to program all of that. It just has to program what I'm seeing. And then all of human civilization could potentially live on that thing, right? So let's just say for argument's sake that we are actually real people, and in the future we create like a Matrioshka brain. We could create with that amount of energy a simulation which is as real as us. And we don't need to simulate everything, because like right now you're looking at my hand, but I can't see inside my hand, and when I'm touching it I feel it. But what if I cut it? It's only when I cut it I can see what's inside. Or when I want to watch something on a microscopic level, it's only when I see through the lens that so I guess I'm limited by my two eyes and my senses to what's around me. And perhaps that's what makes the simulation not that difficult to process. And perhaps it I don't know, like that's something that is a little in line with the, I mean, this is more like, I know it's more like the science fiction thing or
I
something.
mean, like the example I always like to use is essentially playing Mario. You play the game, the Mario game.
Yeah.
Have you played that, right? So
Yes.
essentially it's a 2D world, right? Everything that happens, we control that. But now think about it. Mario's thinking, all right, I'm getting controlled. I do this, I do that. My end goal is to save the princess. So, but he doesn't know that he's a simulation or maybe a game that he's going on and on around. And he doesn't know that there's something more than the 2D plane that he's existing. There might be a 3D plane. So let's say there's like this pole, there's this Mario going around, and he just stumbles upon this pole. But now if he enters the 3D realm, he can just go around the pole. But he doesn't know that he's in a 2D realm, so he just goes and stumbles there. So that, in that sense, maybe Mario would be thinking, yeah, man, this is not a simulation. Maybe it's a simulation. We don't know. But now we are so sophisticated that we have constructed in such a way that it's such a great game. So yeah, man, definitely it could be that way, that whatever we are experiencing right now could be a simulation, a very well thought out simulation. And then again, following on that idea, the people, let's say, who are programmed this simulation might be in another simulation. But they would think that, okay, all right,
That's true.
So I think it's like a loop that just goes on and goes on.
So question from this: how does this information feel for you?
Feel?
Yeah.
Well, the question asks is, what can you do about it? Let's say it's a simulation. Yeah, it's a simulation. Let's say it's a simulation. All right, what can you do about it?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I feel helpless when I think about it that way.
Yeah. Maybe Mario would have thought, this could be a simulation. I'm doing the same shit over and over again for a lot of years. But and he's like, fuck that, what can I do about it? I just go and save the princess. That's it. That's my job to do, and does it.
I mean, I feel like this is probably going to take a tangent where this is going to be a little unsettling. But sometimes I think I'm never going to do this, or maybe I might. And this is probably where you would start saying those FBI things or whatnot. But just in order to feel that I'm real, that I'm really in control, I would want to do something that's erratic and something that is so outside what people would think is normal, just so I could know if I'm really in a simulation or not. And this is kind of like what you see in the movie The Matrix as well, where there are characters in the movie who there's this, they have the series called as Animatrix. And I would definitely urge you to watch it. And in that, it's like different people. Like there's this guy who's running, right? And he's running so fast, and the computer is creating this simulation for him, and it's not able to keep up. And he's running, and even and then they have programmed leg cramps into that simulation. So as he's running in his thoughts, he's running, and his legs start breaking, but he's still pushing. And then this agents call and say that we have to stop the race, we have to stop the simulation right now. He's stepping outside. And then as he crosses the finish line, he actually exits the simulation, and he comes out and he sees all the people around him are dead in those, not dead, but in that simulation. And he's like, what the hell am I seeing? And then just a robot comes and it shocks him. And it shocks his arms and legs, and then he collapses again into the simulation. And then his whole life he's in a wheelchair, but he always keeps thinking that, what was it that I saw? That was what felt like reality. This feels fake.
Got it. So he got a taste of reality. I think that's on the same line of this movie, the new movie rolled out starring Ryan Reynolds, this Free Guy.
I know, I'm super excited to. This is promotion for Free Guy, guys. Yeah.
It's already in theaters. It's already out there. It's been some time.
Oh really?
But yeah, it released I don't know, 2-3 weeks back.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I think it has the same storyline. He's in a game. He's a character programmed to do the same stuff every day. And then after a point, he questions, maybe there's more to life. And then he gets to know that, that this is what I'm telling you from the trailer, guys. This is not a spoiler or something. So yeah, he just realizes there's something more to life, and then he meets a character, and she tells him that he's not real, he's a game. And then I don't know what happens, and there's like a lot of cinematic stuff going on. He tries to save the free world, and the creators of the game start to remove that character, but they are not able to. I don't know why they can't score him out of the game, but I don't know. I've not seen the movie.
Yeah. But here's another thing, like those people are making that movie to be commercially palatable. So, at the end of the day, they are going to add some fucking, bullshit romance shit to sell it. So,
yeah, there is romance in there. That's what I meant by cinematic shit. There is romance in there. So.
But what if it could be like a nihilistic viewpoint, and then you could like see him be like, how am I going to kill everybody? Or something like that, because maybe that's the only way he could really be free. And that's what happens in the Matrix. Like the guy, what is the Agent Smith, he realizes that he knows he's a program the entire time, but once he becomes a corrupted program, it's kind of like cancer. Like he knows he's supposed to self-destruct, but he doesn't want to. So it's like, even though there's this big AI, there's a small program in the AI which is its own AI, and it doesn't want to die. It's told that you should go die, but it doesn't want to. And like a cancer, it spreads across the entire Matrix, and it hijacks every human mind. So the main character of Matrix, like Neo, goes there and he's like, I can, help you out. And then he goes and he fights these people, and then he lets the program corrupt him. And because he's hooked up, the main AI now sends a virus into him, which then sends the virus into the main virus, and then that's how they solve the Matrix issue. But and the life that he gives in the process of his own life causes peace between robots and humans. Again, it's just a movie, but it's it's, I think, for like the year 2000 or whenever it released, it was very, very ahead of its time, and I want to watch.
I think so. Even Altered Carbon is something like that. I think so.
What like is Altered Carbon about?
Oh, it's like it's set in a very dystopian world, where it's like your body is kind of, let's say, it's upon your idea that where you can't die. Your consciousness is kept in these chips that are on your necks, and then you have to pay some certain amount of some things. And there's like this different currency you have to pay to get like this good bodies for to port your consciousness. And then there's like a lot of stuff going on in the story. I don't want to do an Altered Carbon for you guys. But but that goes on the same thing, there are people who are fused with AIs, half robot, half human types stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Would you ever get a sex robot if it was lifelike, like it was with every human feature, but it is? Or would you want to live with a human even
I would like to live with a human, but like as an investment, why not? Just, for some time. There's a power off button. I hope so. I wonder how those robots would arrive to us, in probably an Amazon Prime one-day delivery package.
Yeah. And
who knows, maybe you can order Jeff Bezos every once in a while.
Yeah, and like people who get really mad at him, they could order a Jeff Bezos and then beat the shit out of it, and then record it on video, and then they would have a documentary on Amazon Prime. He's still making money.
Oh shit.
For sure. So a power off button, that's very interesting. Do you think that if we really had a human level AI, how do you think it would feel about having a power off button? Because imagine if I had It would.
There's the question there. It would feel.
So here's a question.
Question mark.
Feel, okay. I think it would. I'll tell you why. Because I've been reading this book called as How to Create a Mind, and by this great author Ray Kurzweil, and he's this guy who has like many PhDs, I think like about 19 or 20 PhDs or something. He has invented tons of stuff, and he's always asked himself, why am I so creative? Why am I inventive? Why did I think of that? So he was always inquisitive about the way the human brain itself works. And he's probably one of the pioneers for AI, like, how artificial intelligence should work, because he's investigated his own mind so much. And in his experience, he's talked about what feelings and all of these things come from. Like, he explains it at basically like this level. So everything starts off with physics, right? Atoms and stuff like that. Atoms join together becomes molecules join together in certain configurations becomes chemistry, right? And now these molecules are combining into compounds. These compounds together eventually complex enough organic compounds can now turn into biology. Then from biology, now he talks about like how the environment is now shaping the biology, because what sorts of biologies will continue to persist and which ones will die off. And there's no emotional relation to this. It's just the environment, what is it picking and choosing. So this then needs to evolution and technically neurology. Like, there's a big jump in these two levels, but arguably the difference between physics and chemistry took like billions of years, and from chemistry to biology took fewer years, and then biology to neurology took way less time. And then from neurology we finally reach a point where you, like, if I was to talk about neurology, he's essentially talking about our brain being built up of 3 parts, and it's based on evolution. So he would say like the brain is built up of the amygdala, which is the fear center. Like, that's why we are afraid, and that's the very first thing that was developed, because we knew that if we were afraid of things, we could live longer, so that's where this comes from. Then the limbic system comes from the mammalian brain. This is like love and stuff like that, like, why do you feel love, why do you feel lust and all of these emotions. And this basically, it had an evolutionary advantage, because the people who cared for each other as a species, they survived more. So that, and then finally we get to the neocortex, and the neocortex is like the 85% of our brain. It's like the part with all the folds and stuff, and this is the part which has helped us recognize patterns and then put 1 and 1 together, 2 and 2 together, and just make all the things we see around us. So if you see, we started off with physics, chemistry, biology, neurology, and from neurology he talks about creating technology. And this is where he is at. So he's saying that physics created chemistry, chemistry created biology, biology created neurology, neurology created technology, and technology is gonna create some more things in the future. And if you could really replicate all the processes, like all your neurons, how they're connected to each other, how they interact with each other, and he's even discussed about this, like, actually it's not neurons talking with each other, but like a group of neurons which memorize certain things, and how all of those things are triggered, how lucid dreaming works and whatnot. So if you're making an AI, and if you are able to port these systems in, usually whenever people think of AI, they just think of like the neocortex. But what they don't understand is the neocortex is absolutely like doesn't work without the amygdala or the limbic system, because the neocortex is trying to solve a problem. It's trying to be not afraid. It's trying to be, I want to have sex. So it's trying to solve a problem that these older brain systems are there to protect humans from. So in the same way, maybe this fear of death that we have is essentially what is causing us to create these immortal machines. And so that's why I always think, like, maybe you would have to create another sort of system that the technology itself would be like, oh, I see how the amygdala works. I see how the limbic system works. I see how the neocortex works. Let's add another.
So essentially, there's like big maybe if you can put these three things into the technology and then create that level of AI.
Yeah, that I would say definitely it's a big maybe for sure. But that's how we are thinking right now. But anything that we've thought about is already.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I think the way we discussed like nanotechnology could change that once they, send those minute tech into our body, then we would have much more greater understanding of what's going on in there. So, but yeah, definitely technological advancements are something that is going to carry human civilization forward, I think.
Yeah. Oh shit. I didn't realize. Have we gone over an hour?
Yeah, we are just over an hour. 5 minutes over an hour.
Oh, okay. I had set a timer, but it didn't ring. So, sorry about that. What time did we start, dude? 7:20, right?
7:20. Yeah. Okay. 5 minutes over.
Okay, sorry, so let's just sorry about that. But okay, so let's just do a quick synopsis or a summary. Okay, so what did you learn through this conversation? Is there anything new that you think we talked about?
Yeah, never to come on this podcast again. That's what
Okay. Yes, that is right from my roommate's mouth.
No, but it was fun. It was fun. Discussing about things, certain topics. Nobody else would touch it, and definitely about the technological stuff. How it can take you forward. So yeah, there's like a lot of cool stuff that we discussed today.
Yeah, I think something that I learned is like definitely some more shit in the porn stuff for sure. Double beastiality. I think we created a new term. Double beastiality. So what I actually do after like all of this thing is done, like when I'm naming the YouTube video, I put all of these topics down. So I have to like tag every second how I'm kind of going about this. This is gonna be quite a lot to put down. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. You're my first guest on this podcast. This feels so formal right now. We don't talk like this. I like how
Zoom does it emoji just when I do it. It's amazing. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Work, you piece of shit. Oh yeah, see.
Dude, it really does do that. Let me see if it does. Doesn't do when I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I guess yours is like a updated version of Zoom. I need to update my AI.
I think so.
Yeah, what a shitty simulation, guys. What the hell are you guys doing? Anyways, chal bro, see you. I mean, you're just in the next room, but
yeah.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.